What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. You know, it had been a while since we heard about anything Fantastic Four related at Marvel Studios after all of the rumors about John Krasinski and Emily Blunt steadily died down of them joining the franchise. And then, of course, with everything that happened during 2020 and the moving of the Marvel Phase 4 slate twice, that didn't help new properties in development much. But yesterday, we got a huge update finally confirming pre-production on the Fantastic Four. We're going to break down exactly where this is coming from, what they said about this Marvel Studios property, and even run down some of the narrative points that could be included in this first iteration of the first family at Marvel Studios. We're going to break it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We're still giving away this insane 1/4 scale XM Studios Beta Ray Bill, as well as our third and final Infinity Saga box set. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment down below, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So some quick backstory and context, since this is the first official news of pre-production of the Fantastic Four over at Marvel Studios. It was about 6 months ago when industry insiders pointed to both Grass-Fed Productions and Solve Everything Productions LLC as both being tied to Marvel Studios. Were able to confirm that for the first, Grass-Fed Productions, and speculated that may have something to do with Blade, referring to, well, humans as livestock for vampires. But they weren't able to confirm that for Solve Everything, other than the namesake matching a very famous Fantastic Four storyline. Well, yesterday, and finally that all changed. Speculation needed no longer, coming from Charlie Murphy over at Murphy's Multiverse, a trusted industry insider we cover often here at the channel, reporting, quote, "As of today, there's no room for doubt. Solve Everything Productions is officially a registered Marvel Studios property and, as he has discussed many times, points directly to the Fantastic Four, making it highly probable," and he goes on to speculate, Kevin Feige and the crew have given the green light to the project, and although there's no official word, it's increasingly likely that the Fantastic Four will be added to the 2023 slate. Now, before we get into that, which I've talked about it many times here at the channel, and I have my beliefs on that as well, and we'll get to that, there's definitely a starting point for every production over at Marvel Studios, and every film really in general, Disney Plus or the silver screen. They always start a brand new production LLC for each films, and they have code names. Solve Everything is actually a very famous and more recent storyline from the Fantastic Four, and may give us an inkling as to what we can expect from the narrative. It's pretty crazy and actually lines up perfectly with some of the industry insider leaks and rumors we've gotten up until now. Now, stop me if this sounds familiar from a very famous adult cartoon that probably a majority of you watch, but some of this storyline revolves around Reed Richards and whether or not he should join the Council of Reeds, yes, I'm dead serious, or spend time with his family. And what is the Council of Reeds, you ask? Well, much like the Council of Ricks, it's all the Reeds across alternate realities trying to work together to solve the multiverse's biggest problems, all of their problems. And then on the flip side of that, you have him wanting to spend time with his family and realizing he can't do both. Much like the obvious parallels to Rick and Morty, there is definitely a parallel between Reed Richards, his intelligence, and also having to act like an actual father and husband. Although the Fantastic Four has always been referred to as a family, readers and lovers of the original vintage comics know, well, there's a little empathy missing there, and with the inclusion of his kids, including Franklin Richards, right off the bat, instead of leaving that a huge gap in the cinematic universe, which is what would happen if they pick up with this storyline, then immediately you have a lot of different motivations for that character. You get to see a deeper and different emotional side of Reed Richards, which I will go ahead and mention leaves him more vulnerable to one Dr. Doom. Now, of course, there's a lot of similarities here between Rick and Morty and the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward, and that's maybe why the MCU decided to employ so many Rick and Morty writers. That's right, if you don't follow channels like mine and kept up with the reporting, a majority of the writers on the Disney Plus series, including Loki and WandaVision, who have now been signed up to write on other series like She-Hulk and some of the silver screen productions from Marvel Studios, were all original writers on Rick and Morty. The reason that transition makes so much sense is as Marvel Studios and Disney start to delve into this multiverse, time travel, there's a lot of ways that they can step into huge plot holes if they're not super smart about how they do it, and perhaps no TV series in the history of TV has done a better job of breaking off some of the hardest to understand concepts, everything from string theory to metaphysics and even higher ideas of self and identity, while keeping it light and funny and not creating enormous narrative plot holes. But but no one can deny that that show also solely focuses on Rick Sanchez's push and pull between wanting to belong, be empathetic, and love his family, and his sense of adventure and intellect ruling his life. That is going to be the major focus on Reed Richards right off the bat, and not perhaps something we've seen out of the already made superhero team, the Avengers. Remember, Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, they didn't really find their families, or at least the family that they've got outside of the Avengers, until Avengers Endgame. For Nat, she said that that was her family, and outside of Clint, they all sort of bonded together to create a new family. This is going to be a different look at a character who sort of has the same call as Iron Man, a sense of adventure, but also has to reconcile that with actual responsibility and family at home, considering the Fantastic Four are a family in and of themselves. This is going to be pretty meta and very exciting, especially considering they named this LLC after this exact storyline. Now, my final thought here, in getting back to what Charlie Murphy speculated about this being added to the 2023 slate, is that whatever the plans for Marvel Studios went completely out the window after this year. They've probably had to adjust some things. I know you guys have seen the reports about Disney downsizing their film studio and leaning towards Disney Plus and video on demand releases now, making that the center of attention. Now, Marvel Studios movies are still going to be a primary focus. They will still be the main money maker over there, bringing in billions of dollars, and they didn't put all of this money into these franchises to stop here. But this is an interesting take on what's going on with superhero teams, and the fact that, well, we haven't had an Avengers or an X-Men movie for quite a while, and outside of Spider-Man and, well, also the Batman title, those two characters in and of themselves carry a lot more weight. And I know Batman is DC, I don't want to make anyone upset here, but a Batman movie or a Spider-Man movie in and of itself, and this is just looking at SEO, just looking at the SEO clicks that those movies generate, are way bigger than, say, some of your smaller franchise teams. You bring along someone like James Gunn, who can do that for Guardians of the Galaxy, but outside of an X-Men or an Avengers, using a Fantastic Four film to sort of galvanize and bring back the movie base for when this is safe to do again, well, if that wasn't a priority before, it is 100% a priority now, and I also wouldn't be surprised to see an Avengers 5 film sort of expedited and maybe come a little quicker down the pipeline. Remember, guys, eventually things are going to go back to normal. I know it doesn't seem like it, and we're all very excited for that to happen when it's safe to do so. And when they finally can do that, you can imagine having a huge superhero team blockbuster when everything is really back to normal is the exact sort of thing that would solve all the bottom line problems. Look, if Black Widow is still probably going to make $1 billion, you guys can only imagine how much the Fantastic Four under the Marvel Studios banner is going to make. Let me know all your thoughts down below. How hype are you guys for the Fantastic Four, and who is your pick to be cast as Reed Richards and Sue Storm if in fact they're not going with Emily Blunt and John Krasinski, as we've reported many times here at the channel? I am all ears. I'm super stoked alongside you guys, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Okay, we're still giving away this insane 1/4 scale XM Studios Beta Ray Bill. This thing's almost 3 feet tall. It's just over 3 feet tall, in fact, and it's going to be given away at 750,000 subscribers. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below. That automatically enters you to win the rest of the prizes here at the channel, like our third and final Infinity Saga box set. We already gave away 2 earlier this year. This one we're giving away on New Year's Eve at the end of the year. If you want to be entered to win either of the prizes or any of the future stuff we give away, including PlayStation 5s, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. Make sure to hit the notification bell with notifications turned on to keep up with the content. Of course, if you enjoyed today's video or the content here at the channel, please hit the like button. If you guys want to follow me one step further, you can find me on Instagram at IamFires, or over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Nvellen, Nvellen. There's links down in the description to both. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always, guys. Thanks for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.